All right, we're gonna do this coffee mug edit. So we're gonna put a surfer and an ocean inside the mug. First thing we do, duplicate the background layer. Now I'm gonna use the quick selection tool to select the inside of the mug. You can use the lasso tool, pen tool, however you want to do it, but quick selection is gonna work for me. Now hold Command, Shift, and then press I to invert that selection. Go down to the bottom right and put a layer mask on it. It should be a big white rectangle with a small black circle in it. Let's go to the image we want to put inside. Command A to select it, Command C to copy it, and then go above the background layer, Command V to paste it, and then zoom out, and then you can size the image in the mug how you want it, and then you should be done. You can save it from there. So I'm going to teach you how to make a panorama photo with your DSLR. First, we're going to want to shoot some photos. We're going to go to the area we want to capture and shoot a bunch of shots right beside each other so it'll look something like this. From there, we open these in Photoshop and stitch them together. So go to Photoshop, File, go down to Automate, Photo Merge, Browse. Let's select the photos that we want to merge together. And then Photoshop will stitch the areas between each photo together. And from there, you're going to want to flatten the image. There's usually going to be some area on the edges that you'll need to crop in. Zoom in on it, check if there's any imperfections where those stitches are, and then you can clone stamp or spot remove the areas. And that's it. You should have your pano done from there. You can export and save. Alright, so we're going to make this surrealistic hole-in-the-wall photo with these three photos. Go to our main photo, duplicate the background layer, and now eyeball off on the background layer, and let's select our subject. So go up to select and go down to subject, and let's see if this will do it good enough for me since there's not much detail around the subject. Perfect. Now let's duplicate the subject, Command C, Command V, go over to our rock texture to get the hole in the wall. Select the area you want, go above the background copy layer, hide the top layer, go back up to select, go down to subject again. The rock should be selected now, so eyeball off on that, go down to background copy, hold Command Shift I to inverse this selection. Now put a layer mask on, and then put our top layer back on, and then let's go over to our forest, go to the background copy layer, go down to effects, drop shadow, and then use these dials here to set the shadow to how you want it, and then export your image. How to do double exposures via Photoshop. So we're going to want to open the images we want to edit into Photoshop. So we're going to do two types. I'm going to do a more contrasty image that'll give us more detail, and then a less contrasty image that's going to just give us some cool lighting effects. So I'm going to double expose this lights onto Mic Mad. So I'm going to go down the layer type to screen, put it to 50%, and then I'm just going to move around the lights to see how I like them, and then that's done. The image from there can be saved. Now the second one, I'm going to do a more contrasty image. So I'm going to be able to cast more of an image onto Katerina so the street is going to show through her. And then we go to the layer type, go to lighten since she is dark. Boom. And that's it. You can save it. Done. So let's make a small planet like this. It's going to be pretty easy to do. All we do is open the photo into Photoshop. The key is taking a super wide shot originally, like this one, and then we go into here, unlock it since it's a background image, so we can adjust it. Go to Image, Image Rotation, flip it so it's vertical, and then now we go to Filter, go down to Distort, go to Polar Coordinates, and make sure it is clicked the rectangular to polar, not polar to rectangular. And then we press OK. From there, we'll just crop in, just adjust the planet or whatever you want to call it to the size we want. There we go. We can save it. That's the planet. Alright, so we're going to make a GIF in Photoshop like this one right here. First thing we do is go to Photoshop, File, Scripts, Load Files into Stack, Browse, pull the photos we want to add to the GIF, open, and press OK. Once all your images are lined up in the layers panel at the bottom right, go up to the word window, go down to timeline, click the create video timeline. The bottom left, click the 3 squares and then set the time to 0.2 seconds. And from here, we're just going to duplicate this, turn the eyeball off, duplicate that, eyeball off, and we're going to do this until we're at the bottom. And then to loop it back, we leave the bottom one lit up and then we add another and then start adding the eyeballs back on, starting from the bottom going up. And then to save it, we go to File, go to Export, then go to Save for Web, go to Save, title your GIF. How to make a split portrait like these. I'm going to do an ASAP Wu-Tang collab. Well, let's open our Photoshop file. I'm going to make a square and then load the shots we want to edit into Photoshop. So I'm going to do RZA and ASAP Rocky because they're the heads of both groups. So let's bring RZA over, size them up. I'm going to desaturate them too because I'm going to make the image black and white just to match the colors a lot easier. And then now let's bring Rocky over. Let's size him up. Put it down to around 50% opacity and then match the right eyes up together. Go to Google, type in ripped paper PNG, open that image into Photoshop, put that between ASAP and RZA, turn ASAP's eye off so we can't see him right now, size the paper to where we want it, turn ASAP on, right click it, go down to create clipping mask. You can move it around and size it from there. How to create a star filter in Photoshop. So you can do it to basically any photo with some bright lights in it. So I'm going to do it to this one, and this one. First thing you do is duplicate the background image, and then you go to this black and white dial at the bottom, go to levels, pull the lights up, the darks down, and the midtones down as well. So it'll look something like this. Then merge those two layers, duplicate this new layer, set both of those layers to screen, click on the top one, go to filter, go down to blur, motion blur, 45-degree angle, let's do distance 1000, and then we go to the second layer, go back up to filter, blur, motion blur, negative 45 degrees, leave it at 1000, that's our image. So I'm going to teach you how to do a quick edit to any raw image or high quality JPEG that you take. It's super easy and just smooths out the skin and smooths out the photo. So what you want to do is open your raw into Photoshop. So you could do Command A, Command C, Command V to create a second layer, or you could just drag and pull it to this little guy and we'll make a second layer. So what we'll want to do now is go up to Filter, go down to Blur, go to Gaussian Blur, put that to 100. It's going to seem like a lot and blurry. But you then go down to the layer type, you switch that to hard light. I like to go from around 50 or lower, so let's go to 50. Nice and smooth. Let's see back and forth. Cool, let's save it and then compare. That's it, that's done. That's how you do the edit. How to create a star trail photo. First, you have to go and take a bunch of long exposures of the sky at night, let's say 30 or more. Import those shots into your computer, then you open Photoshop, go to File, go down to Scripts, load files into Stack, browse where you imported those photos, pull those, highlight all of them, open, and then click OK. This time it's going to take a while since I have so many shots to load them into one Photoshop file. So I'll speed that up. Alright, now your photos should be nicely stacked on top of each other within one Photoshop file. The final step here is to highlight the top image, so you click on the very top one in the stacked layers panel, scroll down to the bottom, hold shift, click the bottom, go to the layer type, scroll down to lighten, boom, there's your star trail. Save your image.